D2 Word Life here with Rip. I can't even think of anything tight. I fucking drained of your stupid name intro.
It's welcome to the Magna era, baby.
Oh, God, yeah, people are going to really be agreeing with that.
Yes, it's the Magna era. The Make America Great Again era.
Okay, not even going to acknowledge that, but not even going to acknowledge that. My opinion is my own, but that's all I'm going to say. But anyway, today we are reviewing the 2007 Royal Rumble event, which I know.
And if you guys don't like my opinion, put it in the comments. I feed on your roasts.
All of a sudden, I put in a comment, I hate your opinion.
It makes me get stronger.
But anyway, like I said, we're reviewing the 2007 Royal Rumble event. I know this is like our third Royal Rumble event in a row that we reviewed, but it is Royal Rumble season.
Man, 2 weeks? No, next week?
Yeah,
will be the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, a week from Saturday at time of recording.
Yep.
But anyway, this event took place on January 28th, 2007 in San Antonio, Texas at the AT&T Center with an attendance of 13,500. And this was a branded pay-per-view. It was freaking Raw, SmackDown, and ECW, back when ECW was the third brand, before NXT took over.
No.
Yeah, and the announcers and the commentators for this event was Joey Styles and Taz for ECW, Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler for Raw, and JBL and your boy Michael Cole for SmackDown.
No, Michael Cole's your boy.
No, Michael Cole's more like your boy.
Nope.
Oh yeah, and a special shout out to the dark match that took place, for the fans in attendance. It was JTG defeating Lance Cade. There you go. Right.
Yeah.
So it was all right. That being said, we did the whole like opening package hyping up the main event matches plus the Royal Rumble match itself to start the event proper. With the commentators welcoming everyone to the show. And we got our first match, which was a tag match, which pitted the Hardys, Matt and Jeff versus Eminem, which was Johnny Nitro and Joey Mercury with Melina. And this
disfigure Joey Mercury.
Yeah, and this event literally happened a little over a month after Armageddon 06, when Joey Mercury got his face smashed in by that ladder, which we already reviewed how nasty that one was.
Yes.
So yeah, at least that came full circle. Going back, and they even showed that again, and I'm just like, I looked at that after they showed it back at this event. I'm just like, that's still nasty. One of the worst injuries I've seen in the ring.
Yeah, fucked up his whole face.
Yeah. I mean, I said that in the Armageddon review, and I'll say it now. That Joey Mercury's face getting exploded, yeah, that was nasty. Ranks up there as the top worst injuries I've seen. And Jeff Hardy was the Intercontinental Champion from Raw, and Nitro was also Raw, but Matt Hardy and Joey Mercury were SmackDown, so this kind of coexisted with both brands here.
Yeah.
Raw and SmackDown brand this tag match here. So yeah, for the first few minutes of the match, Mercury and Nitro were in control, working over Matt Hardy at the beginning of the match. Just typically trying to prevent him from making the tag and wearing him down, that kind of stuff first to start things off. Typical, heel tag team tropes here to start this one. Of course, Jeff eventually did get the tag, and he nailed a drop kick onto Mercury for a 2 count. Yeah, and then then Mercury battled back and managed to dive to Jeff into the corner, leading to Nitro getting tagged in. Right.
Yep.
Of course, Jeff battled back and hit a double leg drop on Nitro's inner thighs, putting him down after he got Nitro down his back for the maneuver.
Yeah, and this is all after the hellish ladder match that Nitro and Jeff went through.
Oh yeah, and for those wondering, yes, this was a time period when Mercury was wearing that protective face mask. Forgot to mention that earlier, right?
Yeah.
It's like Matt got tagged in for some tandem offense, taking down Nitro, and Hardy hit a suplex on Nitro for a 2 count. And Mike got the 2 count after he hit Nitro with a neck breaker.
Yeah.
After getting that tag in, right?
Yeah.
Of course, Nitro didn't battle. Nitro battled back with a punching Matt Hardy right in the jaw. Right.
Yeah, they were trying to disfigure him like they did to Joey Mercury.
So yeah, Matt went down. It's like Matt went down, so neither team had the momentum at this point. Yeah, and then Mercury got the tag in, laid the freaking right hands to Matt on the ground, and and Melina was there screaming at ringside, and that's the only time in Riptide's life he ever heard a woman scream.
Go fuck yourself.
And both members of Eminem were working over Matt, attacking the injured jaw, trying to wear him down, trying to injure him. And the whole story was like, yeah, they're trying to disfigure Matt the same way that Mercury got disfigured. Which I guess by the story narrative actually makes sense here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nitro and Mercury both dove on the Matt's face with their knees in the ring, followed by Mercury hitting a big clothesline on the mat. Oh, and just to damage freaking Matt Hardy's jaw even more, Mercury applied the most deadliest holds, a chin lock. Which I know for a fact you over there popped for that one. Yeah. Right?
Nope, that was you.
Of course, shortly afterwards, Mercury then slammed Matt down, and Mercury slowly got up, and Mercury got on the turnbuckle, but he was posing way too long, right? So when he went to go try to hit a top rope maneuver, Matt Hardy moved out of the way to avoid it, right? Thus giving a little bit of hope to the Hardy's team here. So yeah, and then Matt was able to make the tag to Jeff, and he hit Nitro with a forearm, followed by a front suplex for a 2 count. And then Jeff then ended up hitting Whisper in the Wind onto Nitro for a 2 count. And the only reason it was 2 count was Mercury broke up the pin, trying to keep the match continuing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, then Matt came in, hit a belly to back suplex on Mercury. Reminds you of that. And that move, I know, reminds you of that Steiner Triple H match. That was your favorite.
No, that was you.
Yeah, and then the Hardys both hit a double team suplex on a Nitro, putting him down.
Yeah.
Putting him down on the mat, and then both Matt and Jeff got up to the top rope. It's like Jeff went for their double team top rope maneuver. Jeff went for the splash, but Nitro got his knees up. But Nitro ended up getting hit with Matt Hardy's leg drop in the process.
Yeah, he got it right across the damn face.
Yes. Which I thought was in a good spot because the reversal was only half successful. Right?
Yep.
Of course, Nitro ended up tagging Mercury back in. Yeah, and then then Mercury went to go work on Jeff, and then Yeah, and then Nitro then got the tag back in with a running knee to the ribs of Jeff. And, Jeff's ribs were the target for this point, for the double team heel Tandix here. And this was just all leading up to Jeff making a big comeback at some point here. We all know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then both members of MMA hit a double team slam on their knees, freaking weakening down freaking Jeff even more. Right?
Yep.
And then Jeff was trying to tag out, but Nitro prevented it by putting freaking Jeff into a headlock. But Jeff did fight back and did a back body drop, getting out of that headlock position. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then freaking Jeff went for the tag, but freaking referee was distracted by Mercury, never saw the tag, so the tag didn't really count at that point, right? Classic heel move.
He had to literally push Matt back outside the ring.
Yep. And then Nitro tried to do a running attack onto Jeff, but Jeff shoved Mercury into Nitro, knocking both members of M&M down in the process. And then Jeff then hit a mule kick, which led to him finally being able to tag Matt in with that hot tag. And the crowd went nuts for that spot because everyone knew that was coming.
Yeah.
It's like Matt came in with a fury of punches, and then he had a back body drop to Nitro, followed by an elbow drop to Mercury. Matt was actually cleaning house here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then Matt hit a running clothesline, and then he hit a bulldog clothesline combo to both members of the M&M team for a 2 count. Which that looked extremely close, but the match got to continue. Fans are actually into this portion, waking them up. Yeah, then Matt then went up to the middle ropes and jumped off with an elbow to the back of the head. I believe was it Mercury who was a legal person? When he got the 2 count there? I don't remember exactly. Right?
Yeah.
Of course, Matt was getting double teamed by both members of M&M, but Jeff came in and saved it. Saved Matt's first team, preventing Matt from getting hit with their double team finisher at that point, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Jeff hit a poetry of motion, and then on Mercury, but then Jeff was going after Nitro, but Jeff missed it, and Nitro got a roll up on the Matt Hardy for a 2 count. Right?
Yep.
But Matt fought back valiantly as he hit freaking Nitro with a side effect, followed by the twist of fate. And then Mercury came back in and just tackled Matt out of the ring, and then Jeff got the tag in anyway in the middle of that melee, and then Jeff went up to the top rope and hit a Swanton bomb for Nitro for the 3 count and the win.
Yep.
So yeah, the Hardys won this opening tag match. Your thoughts on this tag match?
It was interesting.
Yeah, the Hardys and M&M tag team always had great chemistry with each other during this time period, I believe. And this extends all the way back to Jeff Hardy's feud with Johnny Nitro.
Yeah.
And it just escalated from there into this tag team warfare that the 2 teams had at the time.
Yep.
So yeah, I thought this was a good way to open this show up. Right?
Yep.
So yeah, after the match, freaking, we go backstage where we see Raw's representative. Okay, let's just say he's a GM. I ain't gonna say Raw's representative. Let's just say he was an interim GM or something. Jonathan Coachman was back there along with SmackDown's GM Teddy Long. Right?
Eric Bischoff's corporate stooge.
And we all know Eric Bischoff is your boy. That's why you had to mention him by name, huh? And of course, Kelly was back there too. And Edge showed up and she introduced herself as an exhibitionist, which that was a thing in ECW. Angie was the Royal Rumble tumbler, which, who cares, right?
Yeah.
That's just, they already knew what entrance they were ordering anyway into the roll-ups. They were just doing that for the skit backstage. But let's just go along with it, right?
Yep.
And then Edge was all mocking her, saying she sounds like a guy a tough job, and asked her if her name is Kelly so that she wouldn't forget her last name. Right? I'm like, the stupid jokes, right? Yeah, and then Kelly said, at least it was her real name. Which, that was totally wrong. We all know Edge's real name is Adam Copeland, and Kelly's real name was Barbie Blank. Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So none of them were going by their real names at this point. So that statement was wrong. Right?
Yeah.
Speaking of somebody who freaking competes with their real name, Randy Orton then showed up. Right?
Yeah, and, said that he was pissed off because he got thrown over the top rope by him.
And, at this time, Randy Orton and Edge were the World Tag Champions, rated RKO. Right?
Yeah.
And, it's like both of them had the Royal Rumble entry balls. And then Edge had to say it. Edge was like, I'll show you yours. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Dick measuring contest reference.
Yeah.
And that's when King Booker walked in to deliver the tell me you didn't just say that line, and I just started chuckling. And that's how that little backstage segment ended. Oh, and there's more, trust me. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, we head back to ringside. This was the ECW Championship portion of the Royal Rumble here. And God, ECW at this point was a shell of its former self. Of course, they aired the video package of Bobby Lashley set to defend the championship against Test, which Bobby Lashley won the championship at everyone's favorite ECW pay-per-view, December to Dismember. I'm just kidding. That event was garbage.
Says you.
Just wait till we fucking review it. You'll really get my opinion on it in depth. At some point, when we do that one. Yeah, and then Test stepped up, and in the build-up to this, freaking Test did lose a triple threat match to Lashley and Van Dam, with Lashley getting the win, but then afterwards, Test attacked freaking Lashley, and after freaking hijacking the ECW title. And with Test standing there with the ECW title above his head on the build-up to this is the closest, sadly, that Test would ever be a world champion in WWE, even if you even want to call the ECW title back then a world title.
Yeah, it was a makeshift title.
Yep. So yeah, both men made their freaking entrances here. Lashley the champion, Test challenger. And to start the match, Test actually put his hand in Lashley's face as a sign of disrespect, so Lashley tackled him more like a spear, but it was a tackle spear. That's how to kick this thing off with these two big men, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, Test sent Lashley into the middle rope, followed by an elbow smash to Lashley's face, right?
Yeah.
Of course, Lashley battled back with a T-bone suplex onto Test, right?
Yep.
And then Lashley then hit a delayed suplex on Test that sent Test on the outside of the ring. Right? So it's like, they're both on the outside of the ring. Lashley went after Test on the outside, but Lashley managed to shove Lashley's upper body into the ring post that knocked him down. And then Test followed that up with an armbar, and the crowd really wasn't into this one at all. It was plain obvious, right?
Yeah.
Of course, Test still had the armbar locked in. There was a 2 count made, followed by another armbar from Test. Testing his arm bars. Next thing you know, he's going to be going for chin locks, am I right? Of course, Lashley then fought back, hitting Test with forearms, followed by a back body drop and a running clothesline, knocking Test down. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Lashley freaking hit 2 shoulder tackles. The crowd was actually into it for a little bit, but let's face it, not much. Right? It's like Lashley then tried to do a press slam, but he sold his injury that was worked over by Test, so he ended up just dropping Test, right?
Yep.
That's how you sell an injury, which is something you don't do in 2K. That's my 1 per video.
Uh-huh.
We gotta do this every time. Right? And of course, the referee was in checking on Lashley, making sure, can you continue this match? But then Test then ended up hitting his running big boot to the face of Lashley for a 2 count. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that freaking hit, though, that was loud. But yeah. Yeah, and then Test went for a slam off the shoulders, but Lashley freaking countered with a belly-to-belly suplex and a clothesline that knocked Test out of the ring at this point. And then the referee started to count Test out of the ring. Test got back up at 7, but he decided screw this and walked away. And Lashley won via countout. That ending was shit.
Yep.
So the winner by countout and still champion was Bobby Lashley, and you know what? That match was crap. That ending was shit. But
yeah.
What's your opinion on that whole ECW title match?
Yeah, the whole ECW thing was decent. It showed Bobby Lashley hadn't lost any of his matches.
Yeah, but that match was crap. You had 2 big men slapping man meat, and it didn't even have a decisive winner.
Yeah.
It only ended just because one of them just cowered out and walked away. And I'm not making fun. That's nothing. No offense to the late Andrew Martin here. He played his role as the villain here to perfection, but I felt like that match could have at least had Bobby Lashley win decisively.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that one was a dud ending to me. I mean, can you imagine if that happened to any other, like, big match? Can you imagine at WrestleMania 28 if The Rock, after being hyped for over a year, if The Rock and John Cena's match would have ended in a dissatisfying countout? How pissed would everyone be?
Extremely.
Exactly. That's why you don't do that. That's why that ending is flat. It's just an excuse to be like, well, we don't want so and so to lose, but we don't want them to get a decisive win either. That's their get out of jail free card. You can apply the same thing with DQ finishes too, by the way.
Yeah.
But after the match, Lashley left the ring and actually hit 2 clotheslines onto Test, and then whipped Test into the turnbuckle, and then hit a running power slam on the Test.
Yep.
But, I don't count that portion because that's what happened after the match was over. Right? For my overall rating for the match. Anyway, after that match, we go to the trainer's room backstage where John Cena was. Because the doctor was checking on him after that. After Cena suffered that big splash to the table from Umaga on Raw, the Raw prior to this.
Oh my God.
Umanga. And then Vince McMahon walked in and Cena told him he was fine. And then McMahon told him, yeah, I don't think so. And then McMahon also said,
I can't see you
as WWE champion and the last man standing. And then McMahon wished Cena good luck and left. I'm like, what an asshole. Right?
No.
Yeah, and then we see a video package hyping up the World Heavyweight title match. between world champion Batista defending against Mr. Kennedy. We all know is your boy.
Mr. Kennedy. Kennedy.
Of course,
Kennedy.
at this point, Kennedy became number one contender when he won a Beat the Clock challenge to earn this world heavyweight title match, including
Controversial.
costing the Undertaker.
Win.
Including costing the Undertaker his match by dragging the Miz out of the ring, making the Undertaker's pinfall attempt at the count of 2 when the clock was going down, which made the match go to a no contest, right?
Yes.
But, it's whatever. Mr. Kennedy made his way out to the ring, and, he did his pre-match promo saying he'll be the next world heavyweight champion, and his name will be Mr. Kennedy, which we all know, that didn't happen. But Kennedy had a lot of potential. It's just his potential was squashed due to bad timing. Can't wait until we rank the tier list of Money in the Bank winners. Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying?
Kennedy's trash.
Yeah, and it's not his fault at all. But we'll discuss it when we do that kind of tier list in the future. Right?
It was his fault. He freaking got himself injured, and then he literally fucking put it on the line and lost it against Edge.
Yeah. But in Kennedy's defense, they only put it that way because they thought Kennedy was going to be on the shelf for a long time, and it turns out his injury wasn't that serious. But, yeah, we'll discuss that when we discuss it, right? So, yeah, both of them made their entries. Batista was a world champion, obviously top babyface. Kennedy was a cowardly heel at this point. Which Kennedy getting a number one contenders match here for the world title, becoming number one contender here was kind of amazing, considering the month prior he lost to The Undertaker in that last Ride match.
Yeah.
Which to me ranks up as one of Kennedy's best matches, the last Ride match, obviously, right?
Yeah.
The match started off with Kennedy eye-raking Batista, but then Batista came back with a boot to the face, followed by a suplex to Kennedy. So Kennedy left the ring, and then Batista went after him, and I'm thinking to myself, please, let's not have another freaking count-out finish. I can't stand 2 in a row, right?
Yeah.
And then Kennedy drove Batista into the steel steps, right? And of course, Batista was selling, the left leg entry after the steel steps part. That's how you sell. I'm not gonna do it. I already did my one per video, right? And then he got back in the ring, and then Kennedy drop kicked the left leg of Batista, putting him down more. And then Kennedy worked over the left leg of Batista with punches, knee drops, and other maneuvers, wearing down that leg, that injured body part.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Kennedy jumped onto the left leg, which put Batista down for a 2 count. Because imagine if that was how Batista's reign ended, with a big splash to his leg to Kennedy. That would be embarrassing. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, then Kennedy turned Batista over and locked a submission hold on to Batista, working over his legs some more. Which we all know Batista wasn't going to submit, right?
Yeah.
Of course, eventually Batista got out of it, but Batista was met with a running knee to the face from Kennedy up against the ropes. Yeah, and did you notice, too, this was at that point that Kennedy was bleeding from his nose. I don't even know how the heck that happened. Right?
We got smashed.
Yep. Of course, whatever. Despite that, Kennedy was still in the driver's seat when he freaking managed to lock a half crab submission hold onto Batista. Right?
Yeah.
But despite the pain Batista was in, he managed to get a cradle pinfall onto Kennedy for a 2 count. Right?
Yeah.
Of course, Kennedy responded for the forearm to the back of the leg of of Batista, right?
Yeah.
So Kennedy once again in control. And then Kennedy ran to the ropes, leading to Batista to counteract whatever move Kennedy was going to do with a spine buster. And then Batista went back to selling that left knee again. And then Batista then came back. And then Batista then freaking stayed in control with a clothesline onto Kennedy, followed by a back body drop and a corner clothesline and a body slam onto Kennedy all in a row. So at this point, Batista was on fire at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Batista then put Kennedy up on his shoulders. And then Batista actually then used the rolling senton on the Kennedy, which was Kennedy's move. That's insult to injury. Right?
Yeah.
And after that, Batista signaled, oh yeah, the Batista bomb's coming up, but Kennedy punched freaking Batista in the knee before he could even hit that move, right?
Yeah.
And then Kennedy then shoved Batista into the referee, and then Mr. Kennedy ended up being a dick to Dave's Batistas as he gave Batista a low blow, followed by a neck breaker onto Batista, right?
Yep.
So the referee was down. Kennedy got a visual cover on Batista. Even JBL was counting to 8 out of frustration, but there was no referee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then freaking Kennedy then hit a DDT on Batista, but Kennedy got the referee back up. And yeah, if you're wondering, the referee for this match was controversial Nick Patrick. Oh, you'll hear all about him if you watch our Starrcade 97 review, or at least listen to that one. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Nick Patrick, the referee, got up, and Kennedy then once again covered freaking Batista, but only got a 2 count. Right?
Yep.
And then Kennedy went up to the metal ropes, possibly do some more damage to Batista here. He jumped off, but Batista then took him down with a clothesline out of nowhere, basically. And then Batista then picked Kennedy up, and then Kennedy tried to fight, but it was no good because Batista then hit a Batista bomb on a Kennedy for the win to retain the World Heavyweight title.
Yep.
After getting that 3 count. So, your thoughts on this one with Batista defeating Kennedy here?
It was good.
Yeah, it was all right. It was good for me. It was all right. Did Batista have better matches in this? Yes. Did Kennedy have better matches in this? I guess you could say so. But, at least Kennedy had at least one world title match on a WWE pay-per-view, so at least he had that going for him.
Yeah.
So Batista celebrated his win, and he was also selling the injury at the same time, but when he was on his way to the back. So.
Yeah.
God, and then do I really have to talk about this next backstage Royal Rumble Tumbler segment?
Not really, no.
Fuck it. But this is a retrospective of the event as a whole, so I gotta talk about it. We go to the backstage area, check on the Rumble match participants, right? Kevin Thorne and Ariel were doing their friggin' tumbler number while doing their vampire gimmick, whatever. That's when Coach looked at Teddy Long and goes, ECW has some weird people. And then Hornswoggle came up. And he was picking Finley's number, supposedly. And freaking John the Coach gave him a chair so he can pick the number for Finley. And then freaking Coach had to make a small joke saying, I hope that's not a little number. Which freaking Hornswoggle responded with biting at Coachman a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then right when freaking Hornswoggle was walking out of there, he ran into the Great Khali, and I'm just like, yeah, big guy, small guy. I just had freaking Survivor Series 2007 flashbacks to that, which eventually we will reveal at some point, or review at some point. Right?
Yeah.
So Khali freaking put his hand in there, got out 3 balls, but Coach said he only can have 1 ball, so he tossed him 2 of them aside. And they only did that for this damn punchline after all the bull right here. Kelly Kelly picks them up and says, "Damn, these are the biggest balls I've ever held in my hands." Which is something you'll never hear in your lifetime.
Neither will you.
And then Ron Simmons just came in and said, "Damn." And that's how that ended. Right?
Yeah.
I know the kind of funny stuff they were trying to do here, but nowadays on repeating it, it's like repeat, it just looks cringe to me. Right?
To you, maybe they were funny. It was funny as hell to me.
Yeah, and then freaking they showed the band Saliva at ringside and advertised that their song, Ladies and Gentlemen, would be the song for WrestleMania 23, which that is a banger.
All Saliva songs have been bangers.
Yeah, and then they showed the video package. Hyping the next match, which was for the WWE Championship. It was a last man standing match between Cena and Umaga. Or Umanga.
Umaga!
And this was the rematch from their New Year's Revolution pay-per-view that from earlier in the month when Cena beat Umaga with a roll-up. And
the
then,
only superstar to beat Umaga.
Yeah, and then Armando Estrada told Cena that this time he won't win on a fluke because it's going to be a last man standing match. So yeah, the next match was that last man standing match for the WWE Championship with Cena, the champion, taking on Umaga. I cannot believe I forgot about this match last week when I said this was our next event, by the way. It was actually, and this one was an actual damn match.
Why do you think I didn't say anything?
You're probably thinking, you were probably thinking, that's where Cena and Umaga had their last man standing match, you dumbass. I bet you felt like saying that last week.
Honestly, I was literally about to say, yeah, that's where Umaga and Cena literally had their damn match, you dumbass.
Why did Braden phrase last week? You made me watch Michael Cole. That's what happens. Oh yeah, and still screw you from last week for that one.
What?
The sad part is we still got one more event with that Forsaken character on the card. But I don't want to think about that right now, right?
I don't remember. I thought there was only 3.
Well, if you don't remember, then I'm not going to remind you. Why would I torture myself for a 4th time? You have to figure that.
No, I just remembered.
Oh, you motherfucker. I was going to say that's for you to figure out on your own. God damn it.
Yep, I remember. It's your favorite match of all time.
Yeah, no, it's not, you ass, right?
Yes, it was. You know it.
It's like, no. Michael Cole wearing that orange singlet reminds me of a prison bitch. That's what he was. Except in this case, he was a wrestling bitch.
You know you loved it.
No, that was your boy. He was your boy, but we're not. Can we please not discuss that right now? I mean, I'm off track. We're about to talk about the last man standing match. Boy, this was long one. Strap in here. Right. Anyway, the two made their entrances. Obviously, Cena got half the crowd booing him, half the crowd cheering him. Umaga just shot straight up booed because he was a heel going into this one. Right.
Yeah.
And then the bell rang to start signifying the match, and then they had a stare down with each other, which led to freaking Umaga striking Cena, but Cena tried to battle back with a jawbreaker, but Umaga freaking got control when he punched Cena in the ribs to take control of the match. And keep in mind, Cena's ribs were taped during this match, selling the rib injury. Right? Yeah, and then Cena freaking bumped onto the floor, and then... Yeah, and then Umaga then whipped freaking Cena shoulder first into the steel steps. The referee, Mike Kyoto, at this time started counting, but started trying to make his 10 count, but Cena got back up. And Umaga just kept targeting the ribs of Cena. Which led, and then this led to John going back into the ring, and Umaga continued the attack on the injured ribs of Cena, which is actually smart strategy in a match like this.
Yep.
Because if you can't breathe, the ribs are hurt, you obviously ain't going to be entering that 10 count.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Umaga charged at Cena, but Cena got up to his feet first and hit Umaga with a clothesline. But Umaga then hit a clothesline onto Cena that knocked Cena down, leading to a 7 count out of 10. Right?
Yeah.
So Umaga was in control. He hit a hard body slam onto Cena, which is pretty impressive, all considered, because we all know Umaga here was fighting an invisible opponent.
That's it.
See, that's my one Cena joke per video that he's in. So yeah, I had to say it. Right? Yeah, and then those two went back on the outside where Umaga tossed. Umaga went out the outside, picked up the top half of the steel steps, and yeeted him into the ring. Right? So the top half of the steel steps were in the ring. Of course, when Umaga tried to get in, Cena then drove, seeking Umaga's neck into the top rope that sent him out to the floor once again.
Yeah.
And despite selling injured ribs, and I swear to God, if you have injured ribs, you wouldn't be able to do this. Cena actually picked up them steel steps and whipped him over the top rope right into Umaga's head.
You can still do it.
Of course, both men were down after this, but that looked impressive. That shows Cena's strength. According to freaking insiders, them wrestling steps are heavy as shit.
Right? Yes, they are. You can still fucking lift them.
Yeah, and obviously, Umaga was down for a count of 6. And Cena then charged at Umaga on the outs, back in the ring, but Umaga ducked him and hit a spinning heel kick to Cena, which that comeback also looked impressive for someone Umaga's size to do. Right?
No.
So yeah, Umaga decided to wear down Cena's injured ribs some more by applying a bear hug to Cena, which ultimately led to a belly-to-belly suplex from Umaga to Cena. Yeah, and then Umaga went back to the outside, brought the bottom half of the steel steps into the ring, so now both sets of steel steps are in the ring. Yep. And then Umaga then set the steel steps up against the turnbuckle, and the crowd were already chanting, "We want tables" at this point, but they didn't get them at this particular moment, right?
No.
Then Umaga set Cena up against the steps into the seated position. And then Umaga went to go hit his running hip attack that he was known for, but Cena got out of the way, and Umaga went back first into the steps. And all I could think about is if Cena got hit with that probably would have crushed his skull in. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Cena then picked up the steps and hit Umaga with them. And then Cena went up to the top, go do a top rope dive or whatever he was thinking about, but it doesn't matter because Umaga caught him, and Umaga caught Cena and then hit a freaking tilt-to-whirl sidewalk slam that he also was known for, which I hate to say. I was like, oh God, every time Umaga hit that, he made his opponents look like a rag doll, pretty much. Right?
No.
Yeah, and then Umaga then jumped onto the ribs of Cena not once, but twice. But then on the third time of asking, Cena got his knees up. So he was a dick to Umaga's Uganda Giants. I don't fucking know. Actually, no. A better phrase for that would be Cena was a dick to Umaga's Samoan Bulldozers. with that low blow block, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then Cena then hit a bulldog onto the steel steps, slamming Umaga face first onto him. Then Cena hit a tilt-a-whirl back suplex onto the steel steps on Umaga. And then with Umaga laying on the steps, Cena actually hit the 5-knuckle shuffle, right?
Yeah.
And then Cena wanted to hit Umaga with the FU on the steel steps, but Cena collapsed with his head hitting the steps instead, with Umaga landing on top of him. That's how you sell.
Yeah. That's three that you've done this, you son of a bitch.
I did not directly aim it at your 2K play. I'm just recalling what happens here.
Liar!
Of course, with Cena hitting the steel steps, Cena got back up and he was bleeding. Right? At this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Umaga worked over Cena in the head with punches to the head of Cena. Because, that's the injured body part of Cena now. New injured body part is bleeding, right?
Yep.
And then Umaga then hit more punches as the referee counted Cena down. Cena actually got up for the 8 count. On the count of 8. And of course, the crowd were doing the "Let's Go Cena, Cena Sucks" chants, which that, in his matches at this time, was something not unusual. Cena was a polarizing figure, after all. Of course, Umaga then hit Cena with chops, but Cena was starting to no-sell him, a.k.a. hulking up. I wonder who could have made up that phrase, right?
Yeah.
Certainly nobody that tried to screw Sting out of a Starrcade match, after all, brother.
Uh-huh.
And I will debate this and say that was a normal count.
That was a fast count.
Normal count.
Fast count.
Wait a minute. We're not reviewing that again? What? Okay, moving on. Cena came battle back with punches, and then he ran the ropes, which was a bad idea because Umaga reversed whatever move that Cena was going to try to do to Umaga with a Samoan drop. Right? Yeah. So Cena was down and out again, but instead of counting, Umaga was like, nope, I'm going to go try to hit the Samoan spike. But Cena got his hands up to block it. So Umaga just connected with a headbutt instead. How Cena got up from the headbutt, I don't know. Samoans have them hard heads that can knock out anybody, supposedly, right?
Yeah.
Of course, Cena eventually did battle back, and he set. But then Umaga battled back. He set Cena upside down on the turnbuckle. Right?
Yeah.
He said, it's like Umaga said, freaking Cena over by the turnbuckle, upside down the tree roll. But Cena freaking sat up to avoid a running charge. So Umaga ain't none but turnbuckle there. And then Cena then hit a leg drop to the back of Umaga's head. Right?
Yeah.
Then Cena then whipped freaking Umaga into the ring post onto the outside, and then Cena then hit Umaga on the head with a TV monitor, right? And then he hit the ring post. He hit Umaga in the hole with the TV monitor on the ring post. And Umaga was up at the 7 count, right?
Yeah.
So Cena hit him with Cena then hit Umaga with a forearm to the back of the head, knocking him out of the ring once again. Of course, on the outside of the ring, Umaga caught Cena and then drove him back first into the ring post. Right?
Yeah.
And they were over by the announcer's table. There, you knew one of them had to get destroyed at least. So Umaga cleared out the ECW announcer's table. Put Cena lying on his stomach there. And then Umaga ran across the Raw and SmackDown table for a jumping splash on the Cena through the ECW announcer's table, but Cena moved. And Umaga sent himself crashing to the table. Right?
Yeah.
And the crowd were starting the holy shit chants here, but somehow Umaga got up by the 9 count. Right?
Yeah.
And not only did he get up, he amazingly started fighting back once again, because Umaga ended up hitting Cena on the ribs with some punches, and then Armando Estrada, Umaga's manager, for some reason, unhooked the entire top rope to come loose, and Umaga got a hold of the metal part of the turnbuckle. You know, use that as a weapon, do some more damage on the Cena. He was probably going to try to spike Cena with it, but Cena reversed that attack, and Cena ducked the attack, and Cena hit Umaga with an FU, which back then it was still called the FU, and then Cena knocked Estrada down. And then Cena
choked the life out of Umaga.
Yes. It's like Cena Cena hit Umaga down with the metal part of the turnbuckle, and then locked in the STFU submission hold, using the chokes to freak it with the ropes around Umaga's neck to choke him out. Yeah, and then after a while, Umaga passed out. But then when the referee was counting, Umaga was moving around, like signifying he was getting back up before the 10 count. So Cena applied the hold with the ropes again. Right? Choking him out for a second time. And once Umaga was all passed out once again, Cena let go, and the referee actually made it to the 10 count, thus signifying Cena won to retain the championship.
Yeah.
Okay, your thoughts on this match, bell to bell?
It was good to see the Umaga.
I mean, to be honest, if Umaga would have won this match, I don't think anybody would have had a problem with it anyway, but, you know, Super Cena always has to Super Cena. By the way, I would not advise choking it.
Umaga never won a WWE heavyweight title and WWE title.
I mean, Umaga did win the Intercontinental Championship on 2 or 3 different occasions.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, I would not advise choking out anybody with a rope. Yeah, that in the real world, that would be considered murder.
No, it wasn't. It's considered wrestling.
Or attempted murder if your victim's still breathing.
If they're still breathing, they're not dead.
Yeah, well, attempted murder's still bad, so. But yeah, haha, don't do that in the real world. That's why they say don't try this at home. But anyway, I thought the match was the best match. I thought this match was the best match of the night. And, you know, it was brutal. So yeah, I enjoyed it. So yeah. We go to the backstage again. And then the Sandman freaking was back there, picked his number out, just tossed it aside, opened a beer, chugged it, and then freaking caned himself and then left. Right?
He's like, oh, like this even matters.
He's like, I don't even give a shit. He's like, I don't even give a shit where I go. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, Ric Flair was the last one to pick his number out. And then Kelly and the other ECW dancers, which was Layla and Brooke at the time, danced with Flair. As Ric Flair was like, woo. And that was it.
Yeah.
And that answers the question. Answer this question. If Ric Flair chops a tree in the woods and no one's around to see it, does he still woo?
Yes.
And of course, afterwards we go to the Royal Rumble match, where before the Royal Rumble match, they showed the video package highlighting past Rumble matches and focus on the current stars at the time as well, about, who's going to win the Rumble this year. And of course, the announcers, the commentators for this match was your boy Michael Cole, JBL, and Jerry Lawler. There was no ECW announcers for this despite the fact there was ECW superstars in this Rumble.
Yeah.
But at least this Rumble was good because it wasn't tainted by your boy yet. You know what I'm referencing. You know what I'm referencing from last week again. Of course, number one.
It's more your boy.
Nah, number one. The first entry into the Royal Rumble was Ric Flair, and the number 2 entry was Finlay, and Yep, and then I swear, I mean, everyone makes a big hype of, if you enter number 1, you gotta last all the way through, like over an hour to win the Rumble. Well, number 2 has the same fate. Did you know what the difference between 1 and 2 is? Nothing. I don't even know why that's not brought up more often, right?
Yeah.
Of course, Finlay knocked Flair down with a shoulder tackle, and then Flair came back with chops, but then Finlay then hit a back body drop, and then Flair avoided the elimination attempt with an eye rake to Finlay. Oh, and number 3 is your boy, Kenny Dykstra.
Fuck Kenny Dykstra.
I mean, we all know how much big of a fan you were of him, especially during your Spirit Squad days.
Oh, I know you were.
I mean, yeah, we all know Kenny Dykstra from the Spirit Squad was the most successful member of the Spirit Squad. I swear to God, there wasn't any other.
Uh-huh.
And yes, I'm saying that with a sarcastic tone. Right?
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, and then Kenny Dykstra at the time was the youngest guy in the match, just 20 years old at that point. Of course, Flair then Flair, who had a feud with Dykstra on SmackDown, worked over Dykstra with repeated chops to the chest. Finlay nearly tossed Kenny out, but Kenny held on. And then number four then came out, and it was Matt Hardy in his 6th Royal Rumble match, according to your boy Michael Cole. But we already seen Matt Hardy early in the match, so he's pulling double duty here. Early in the night. Then Matt actually hit a side effect on Dykstra, and then Dykstra was close to being eliminated, but hangs on. Nothing much really happens. Number 5 is the Rated R Superstar Edge, and he immediately took Flair down with a spear. And Finlay. Right?
Yeah.
Of course, then Matt Hardy battled Edge and gave Edge a twist of fate, but then Kennedy freaking tried to take Matt out with a clothesline, but then Flair ended up going to the outside under the bottom rope to bring in 2 chairs, possibly to try to do a concerto on the Edge, but that didn't happen. As Kenny Dykstra kicked the chair out of the ring, and then Edge ended up tossing Flair out. Anyway, so Ric Flair has been eliminated. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then Kenny Dykstra celebrated with Edge, and, the sneaky cocky Edge actually freaking took Dykstra out as well and eliminated him from this Rumble. All right?
Yeah.
Which Kenny looked shocked as hell, but I'm like, hey, it's every man for himself. There are no friends in this one.
There's friends. You just have to keep them close.
Yep. Of course, number 6 was Tommy Dreamer from ECW.
The Dreamer.
And then Dreamer then went after Edge with punches, followed by a running drop kick against a turnbuckle. Then Finlay knocked Hardy down and hit a clothesline on a Dreamer. Edge then avoided elimination from Matt. And then Dreamer, meanwhile, Finlay freaking killed some time by going after each other in the corner. And then number 7 came out, which was Sabu. Also, obviously, from ECW, right?
Yeah.
And before even Sabu got into the ring, he freaking took a table out from under the ring and set it over there by ringside. Right?
Yeah.
Of course, everyone was going crazy. Right? Yeah, and then Sabu went after Dreamer immediately, and yeah, Dreamer missed a DDT spot from Sabu, or Sabu missed a DDT spot. Yeah, botched it. Right?
Yeah.
Number 8 came out, and it was Gregory Helms. Right? Who was a Cruiserweight champion at that point, held the title for a year at that point. We reviewed the 06 Rumble when he won it. he was still champion at this point, walking into the 07 Rumble. Right?
Yeah.
And then Helms then went after freaking Matt Hardy since they had the rivalry there. Sabu freaking eliminated Finley, tried to get eliminate Finley, but Finley hung on.
So there you go.
Yeah, and then the 6 guys all pair off in the corners of the ring. Yeah, and then number 9, they were all separated on each corners of the ring. Number 9 came out with Shelton Benjamin. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Benjamin came in, tried to toss Dreamer and Matt Hardy out, but they were able to hang on. And yeah, and then number 10 came out, and that was Kane, right? Who was pretty much a veteran of these Rumble matches, of course. And of course, this was, the Monster Kane, 2007 version of Kane. But you know what's funny? We all know you were disappointed. Your favorite version of Kane was the one he had in 2015, the corporate Kane stooge.
No.
Yeah.
That was your favorite, the corporate stooge.
Kane came in and hit a boot to Dreamer. And he nailed the other guys with punches. And then he hit a freaking huge power slam on the Gregory Helms, his former tag team partner at one point. Right?
Yeah.
Then Kane hit a choke slam on the Edge. And then Dreamer got eliminated by Kane landing on his head on the outside. Then Sabu tried to charge at Kane. And Sabu actually tried to eliminate Kane, but Kane put him over the top rope, but freaking Sabu actually landed on the apron, but Kane decided to give Sabu a choke slam to the table that Sabu set on the outside of the ring, thus eliminating Sabu from this Rumble. Right?
Yeah.
And even back then, I'm like, yep, it's always Lord that he who sets up the table shall go through the table. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, number 11 was CM Punk, and seeing a young CM Punk back then versus the CM Punk now, you can tell there's a big difference there. Right?
Yeah.
Of course, CM Punk was on ECW, but it doesn't really matter. But at least that was one of the freaking guys who made a career of themselves despite starting in WCW version show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, it's like not really much going on here. Punk tried to get rid of Edge, but Edge didn't, but Edge held on. And then Punk then held on when Finley tried to eliminate him, but that was about it. At this point on, I just want to try to get through these. Number 12 was King Booker with Sharmell. And as soon as Booker got into the ring, he quickly eliminated Gregory Helms. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Booker and freaking Punk exchanged some punches, and then number 13 came out, Super Crazy. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, he was crazy, and Crazy didn't do much in there when he got in there. Booker nearly eliminated Finley, but Finley held on, right? Whatever. Number 14 was Jeff Hardy, who was Intercontinental Champion, so double D for him as well.
Yeah.
Of course, both Hardys were now in this matchup. Both of them worked together on a bunch of people. Double suplex on the Finley. They also hit Edge with a double elbow drop. And a spinning, and they hit freaking Super Crazy with a spinning slam, right?
Yeah.
And the Hardys even hit a poetry in motion, freaking to Kane, putting him down for a little bit. Number 15 was the Sandman, who made his entrance to the crowd, drinking beer as he made his dang entrance, with a Centipore cane in hand. Sandman got into the ring. Kane hit both Hardys with a cane and Super Crazy. Sandman tried to hit Booker over it, but Booker avoids it and tosses Sandman over the top rope to eliminate the Sandman.
No.
So I'm like, well, that was a waste. Maybe that's why in the back Sandman didn't really give a shit. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and number 16 came out, and that was Randy Orton, and now we have both World Tag Team Champions in there, Edge and Orton at this time. And Edge and Orton quickly eliminates Super Crazy. Yeah, and then a little later on, Orton eliminated Matt Hardy, and Edge eliminated Jeff Hardy at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, number 17 was U.S. champion Redacted, making his final Rumble appearance. And yes, that's a joke. I'm talking about Chris Benoit here.
Chris Benoit.
And Chris Benoit goes after. Yeah, and then Chris Benoit came in, hit some German suplexes on Finlay, Booker, and Benjamin. I'm just like, yeah, if Brock Lesnar is the mayor of Suplex City, then Benoit built the fucking city with the suplexes he put in this match. In every match, to be honest. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then number 18 then came out. It was Rob Van Dam, RVD, who has Royal Rumble match experience at this point, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then RVD then hit Booker with a kick, and then Kane eliminates King Booker from the Rumble.
Yep.
And Booker was shocked. He was ticked off. He came back in, hit a scissors kick on Kane, and then Booker clotheslined Kane, sent over the top rope, and eliminated Kane. And then afterwards, Booker just kept freaking beating down on Kane on the outside of the ring, which led to their match at the 2007 No Way Out event. Which, goddamn, the rules of the Royal Rumble always freaking change. Oh, Superstar eliminated. Oh, he goes back in and throws another one over the top rope. Yeah, that's an elimination. Or a Superstar who's not in the match comes in, throws someone up over the top rope. Yep, that person's eliminated. They're never really consistent with the rules, honestly.
Yeah.
Because explain to me this: why is it that when King Booker got back in the ring and threw Kane over the top rope, they're like, oh yeah, Kane's been eliminated. But when Vader did the same thing to all the other participants in the 1996 Rumble, they're like, nope, they're all illegal eliminations. So everyone gets to go back in. Explain that inconsistency.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'll rant about it again when we're reviewing the 96 Royal Rumble, whenever that is. Right.
Yeah.
Of course, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Number 19 was Viscera, the world's largest love machine. We all know that was your favorite, too, to win this match.
No.
Yep. Yeah, and there wasn't really going on. 8 guys in the ring. They were all trying to eliminate each other, but they were all unsuccessful, just buying time. Number 20 came out, and it was Johnny Nitro, who we seen earlier in the show. RVD avoided elimination after Nitro tried to get rid of him, but Orton and Edge worked together to try to get rid of Nitro. That was unsuccessful. Shelton Benjamin was holding on to the bottom rope, so his feet didn't even touch the floor. At this point, it was a great highlighted spot, right?
Yeah.
Number 20. Hey, look, it's number 21 coming out, and it's the Forgotten Vampire, Kevin Thorne from ECW.
Whatever happened to him?
I think he either retired or he's wrestling the independent scene. Here's a little known fact. Kevin Thorne, he was the former Mordecai in 2004. That's a fact that always gets forgotten about during his short-lived stint in WWE. Right.
He had 2 short careers in WWE, Kevin Thorne and Mordecai.
Yep. Yeah, and then at the point, Viscera tried to get rid of Rob Van Dam but failed to do so. Van Dam tried to hit Viscera with 2 clotheslines, but yeah, Viscera then came back with a clothesline, knocking Van Dam down. Oh, and number 22 was the roughest and toughest participant in this Rumble match, that being Hardcore Holly. And what does Hardcore Holly like to do for a living in WWE besides wrestle? Beating up rookies, apparently. Them stories came out, right?
They beat up everyone.
Yep. Yeah, and then everyone was getting up to try to take Visser out, but they were unable to do so. Number 23 came out, and it was Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid. Obviously, everyone was popping for Shawn Michaels, not only because he was a legend, still actively competing at this time. This was also his hometown that we were in, right?
Yeah.
Of course, the interesting thing is Shawn Michaels was still entering to his T-Generation X theme song, despite Triple H at this time being injured, but, it is what it is. The pop for Shawn Michaels coming out was still amazing.
Yeah.
Right? And HBK freaking took down, and then HBK took out Finlay, eliminated Finlay after 32 minutes of Finlay being in there. Yeah, then Michaels super kicked Viscera with Viscera freaking up on the top rope. Everyone came up, gained up on a knocked out Viscera and eliminated him. Eliminated Viscera from the match. And Sean Benjamin was also eliminated by Michaels after Michaels hit a big back body drop on Benjamin over the top rope. Right?
Yeah.
And number 24 then came out. It was your boy Chris Masters.
No.
Oh yeah, we all know you were so mad that Chris Masters was never a world champion.
No.
Yeah, but shortly after Masters got into the ring, Johnny Nitro was eliminated by Benoit. Right? Yeah, and then Edge and Orton worked together on Michaels, trying to get him out, but to no avail. Number 25 was Chavo Guerrero. Right?
Yeah.
And then Chavo then hit an uppercut on Masters, didn't do much. Benoit eliminated Kevin Thornton from the Rumble. Right. There you go. Forgotten Rumble appearance, forgotten character. Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and then number 26 came out. It was MVP. Right. And it's like, and the story with MVP, I guess, is freaking burn scars magically healed after about a month. Because remember, a month prior, MVP lost that Inferno match to Kane. Right?
Yep.
When he had his back on fire. that we talked about in the Armageddon review.
Yeah.
Yeah, then Masters then got eliminated by Van Dam. Right. Yeah, and then number 27 came out, and it was Carlito, Masters' former tag team partner, and current member of the Judgment Day stable. Right?
Yep, that is absolutely nothing.
I know, that means nothing. It's like Carlito went after a bunch of different people, although I don't think he got a single elimination. Michaels freaking held on when Van Dam tried to eliminate him. Yeah, and then, the number 20, the number 28 freaking came out, which was, the Great Khali.
Yeah.
And we all know Khali at the time was your pick to win this Rumble.
No.
Of course, everyone back in the ring, everyone stopped to try to confront Khali. Nothing was working. Khali freaking hit headbutts on a bunch of the guys, as well with chops, to that of Orton and Michaels as well. Yeah, and then Hardcore Holly tried to beat down Khali, but Khali makes ease out of Hardcore Holly throwing him out. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the number 29 was your boy and future WrestleMania main eventer of the worst WrestleMania of all time, The Miz.
No.
And The Miz went in there, Khali grabbed him and immediately tossed him out at So it took Miz only lasted about maybe 6 to 7 seconds in this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and at this point, I think, yeah, and then Cully then threw out freaking Van Dam, Punk, Carlito, and Chavo. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention this earlier before his 4-person elimination streak. Cully also eliminated Benoit as well, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Benoit's last Royal Rumble appearance, getting eliminated by Cully after about a good 20 minutes in. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Cully freaking hit a 2-handed chokeslam on the Michaels, taking him down, and Cully was the only one standing tall in the Rumble when they did the countdown here for the last entrant. Number 30 entrant to the Royal Rumble, which turned out to be The Undertaker.
The greatest of all time.
Which looking back, even you were like, no, Undertaker can't win this. He ain't gonna win. He has no chance.
No, I knew he was going to win.
I mean, as a matter of fact, you told me in your freaking our made-up superstar ranking that you rank Michael Cole above Taker.
Fuck you. That's what you rank Michael Cole.
Nope. Nope.
You're in love with him.
It's like, nah, Matt. It's like, I'm just doing this to rib anyway. It's like Taker got in there, huge pop. And at this time, they were telling the story about how no one won at number 30 at this point. And everyone's down, and The Undertaker freaking went after the Great Khali, who tried to fight back, but Taker fought back Khali, right? And then The Undertaker nailed Khali with punches against the ropes, and then hit a clothesline that almost was botched, by the way, but Khali ended up getting eliminated either way. So The Undertaker eliminated the biggest man in this match at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, freaking Undertaker then also hit the old school on the MVP, and then afterwards MVP got tossed out by Taker.
Yeah.
So the final 4 for this year's Rumble was Taker, Orton, Edge, and Michaels, right? Taker then hit a leaping clothesline on Edge, but an MVP got back in with a chair. But he tried to get back in the referee's thumb, but Orton took the chair from him, and Orton nailed The Undertaker in the head with a chair, thus busting Undertaker open, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then Orton turns his back. Yeah, and then Orton turned his back to Edge, and then Edge looked like he was going for a spear on Orton, or it could have been Taker. I think it was more like he was trying to hit Orton here with a spear, setting that up.
He was trying to hit Orton.
Yeah, and then Edge freaking went around, but as soon as Randy Orton turned down, he almost drilled Edge in the head with a steel chair, and then those two start arguing back and forth. We thought we were going to have a dissension here. But Orton ended up hitting an RKO on the Michaels, who fell out to the floor under the bottom rope. Right?
Yeah.
So Edge and Orton go after The Undertaker, who at this point, as mentioned earlier, was busted open from that chair shot. Taker managed to overpower them, hitting both of them with clotheslines. You know, double clothesline.
Yeah.
And then Taker ended up hitting the Snake Eyes and Big Boot to Edge. And The Undertaker, but then Edge bows back and spears The Undertaker just as he was about to chokeslam Orton. And Michaels was still in for it, but then Edge hit a freaking chair shot on The Undertaker's head once again. Right?
Yeah.
Then Edge then went on the outside to grab another chair to set up freaking Taker for the concerto, but right when freaking that was about to happen, Michaels actually came back in with a back body drop by Michaels that sent Orton out and eliminated him. Then Edge then hit a super kick to Edge, which sent Edge out and over the top rope too. And then now Michaels and The Undertaker were both left lying prone on the mat, the last two in the Rumble. And I'm just like, oh, who's going to win this one? We got two freaking of the best freaking veterans of all time. Obviously, both Hall of Famers at this point that had a storied rivalry. And yeah, this was the first time Taker and Michaels actually fight each other in a match since the Royal Rumble of '98 that we already reviewed. So 9 years prior to this.
Yep.
And after a good minute, The Undertaker sat up, followed by Michaels nipping up at the same time, basically. And everyone got goosebumps seeing that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the crowd were going nuts for these guys, for these two guys. Everyone had, obviously, since these two competed in the first Hell in a Cell match, that casket match. And we didn't know at the time this was live, but eventually two WrestleMania bangers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then freaking corner, it's like, yeah, the Undertaker, or Shawn Michaels got whipped in the corner. HBK did his, flip up over the top rope, over the top turnbuckle spot that he always does. Yeah, then Taker came in, Shawn ducked the boot and sent Taker over the top to the apron, right?
Yeah.
And Michaels didn't hit a punch on Taker, but Taker fought Shawn off, and they both got back in the ring. Michaels a nailed Taker with a neck breaker. Yeah, and then freaking Taker bowed back, and he hit a boot on Shawn Michaels, laying Michaels down. Yeah, and then Taker went to go try to suplex him out, but Shawn then freaking reversed it into a headlock onto the apron. Right. So then Shawn goes up to the top rope. Taker follows him up and toss him to the floor, but not over the top rope. Actually, no, he tossed him out. He tried to toss him out of the floor, but Michaels ended up reversing it, punching him down off the rope. Right?
Yeah.
And then Michaels ended up hitting that elbow drop off the top rope. And then Michaels was also signifying for Sweet Chin Music super kick, and by the time Taker got up, he tried to nail the super kick, but Taker caught him and hit a choke slam and so Taker hit a choke slam on the Michaels, sending both men down once again. Right? And then when Taker got up, he signified, oh yeah, it's going to be over. I'm going to hit a tombstone on Michaels before eliminating him. And as soon as he got Michaels up, nope, Michaels freaking got off. Michaels reversed and actually hit a Sweet Chin Music super kick that knocked Taker down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then freaking The Undertaker was lifting himself up by the ropes. And then Michaels remembered, oh, I won my last Royal Rumble by super kicking my opponent, my last opponent at the time, who was Kevin Nash, over the top rope. I'm going to do the same right here to The Undertaker. So Michaels went for the Sweet Chin Music super kick, but unlike Diesel, The Undertaker actually ducked it and eliminated Michaels to win the Royal Rumble match.
Yep.
So yeah, not only was this The Undertaker's first and only Royal Rumble win, this was also marked the first time number 30 won the Royal Rumble match. So with this win, The Undertaker guaranteed himself a world title match at WrestleMania, which they built as a main event, but let's face it, despite losing the Royal Rumble match, Shawn Michaels would end up getting the WrestleMania 23 title main event against John Cena anyway, while Taker would go on to face Batista for the World Heavyweight Championship. But that doesn't take away the historical significance of this Rumble victory.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on this Royal Rumble match?
It was good.
Would I call it the best Rumble I've ever seen? Not necessarily, but I do agree with the winner because, well, Taker, that's GOAT status.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was a good Rumble overall. And it told the stories that it needed to tell. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like I say every time we do these review videos after we get done talking about the event, we go on to our favorite portion of this review podcast, and that's our rating system. So yeah, let's get on with it. The Hardy Boys, or the Hardys, whatever you want to call them, defeating Eminem in that opening tag team match. I give that one 3.5 out of 5.
I give it 4.
You enjoyed it slightly more than I did. Yeah, the ECW Championship match with Bobby Lashley retaining by countout. Yeah. I only gave that one 2 out of 5. Only because of the action that took place beforehand, but it really wasn't that great.
Yeah.
So what would you rate the Lashley winning by countout match?
That's 3.5.
Yep. Batista defeating Mr. Kinney to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. I gave that one 3 3/4 out of 5.
I give that a 3.
Yep. All right, then, and John Cena defeating Umaga in that last man standing match to retain the WWE Championship. Easy 5 out of 5.
5.
Yep. We both agree on that one. And of course, The Undertaker winning the 2007 Royal Rumble match when he last eliminated Shawn Michaels. The Royal Rumble match as a whole, I give it 5 out of 5.
5.
And the final grade, and my personal final grade for the 2007 Royal Rumble is a B.
A.
So, yep. So anyway, yep, that's our thoughts on the 2007 Royal Rumble pay-per-view event. You alluded to this last week, but what are we watching next week for the review?
WrestleMania. I think 23, 24, something like that.
You told me 28.
28.
Yeah, because you wanted to see that 18-second squash again.
I'm gonna make you relive it, bitch.
I guess next week our review is gonna be WrestleMania 28, which actually does go with the 2012 Rumble that we reviewed last week.
Yes.
As much as I don't like that 18-second squash fest, and yeah, you'll hear my thoughts about it next week. At least the only saving grace is, at least that was the opening match, and not the last match. And not near the main event, so at least we can get it done and over with quick. Because the rest of the card, the rest of the matches on there were actually worth watching.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway. Next week, we'll do WrestleMania 28 for the review, and so until then, I will talk to y'all later. Peace.
Deuces.